I'm going to show you how to set up a blog for your classroom. These blogs are very useful tools if you want to set up communication between you and the students outside of the room, but also it's a great tool for parents to be able to access to see what's going on in the classroom. It's also a good tool so students can make comments and do things like that on the page when they're not obviously in school. To create a blog, probably the most common website and the easiest one to do is called Blogger. All right, so I'm just going to type in Blogger on that website. So blogger.com is the website that I'm going to go to. It'll probably make you sign in, but you can just sign in with your Google account that you normally have. Um, right now, what I have pulled up is a blog that I made previous to this. So to make a new blog, come up here. This is the name of my blog, Everything About TA. That's me. I'm going to create a new blog right there. So I'm going to click on new blog. New blog list should pop up, and I'm going to name this AP Physics. That's what I want this blog to be about. And more importantly, I'm just going to make this kind of a discussion board of things that are going on in my classroom. Then you want to create a web address so your students know where to access this. So I'm just going to label this Anderson as my last name, AP Physics. And then if you click down here where it says theblogspot.com, it'll check to see if that's available. And if it has a check mark right there, then obviously that is available. Next thing you have to do is select your theme. A lot of different types of themes up here. Again, a lot of it's the colors, how pictures and everything are laid out, all that stuff. So you can just pick whichever one looks the best to you. All right, so for this one, I'm going to select the Awesome Ink, that one right there. And just go down here and create a blog. So while it's creating, first thing that pops up is you can actually look for a domain name for it. That'll probably cost you some money. So right now, I wouldn't bother doing that. So just say no thanks, because just doing the free one's probably going to be good enough. Pretty basic screen to start. A lot of different things you could do. Number one, this is a screen where you post. So just going to make a new post and type something out. Stats, you can see how many people and where they have accessed this blog from, how people have commented, earnings and things. Earnings is obviously how much money you've generated from this. Pages and layout. Layout is kind of how the pictures and everything are laid out on your blog. Theme are the colors and everything else. Then you just have your normal settings. So I'm just going to make a basic post right now and something that I would want my students to comment on. Okay, so I hit create post. Post title I'm going to put up here. I'm going to make my students talk about conservation of energy. All right, and the post, the discussion is going to be about I want the students to give me an example of different types of energy sources and how they have switched from one point to another, how they transfer. So give me an example of what I want the students to do is to give me an example of an object that's going through different types of energy transfer. And so I want them to use, I would say, potential energy, elastic energy, and kinetic energy. So they have to be able to use all three of those in their discussion. All right, and that's all I want them to do. And I want them to have a discussion of the different examples that you can have going through the different forms of energy transfer. All right, so I'm going to hit publish this. And you see it pops up, my little blog post pops up right there. A couple things you can do to make this easier. Number one, you could add a label to this. So if I click the box right here, I say add a new label. Since we're talking about energy, I'm going to label that energy. And so what you can do later on as you get more and more blog posts, you can sort it by, let's say, the content that it's covering. So as you go throughout the whole year, if you want to label it energy or motion or forces, whatever, you can kind of sort it that way. All right, so that's the post. So if you want to see your blog, over here on the left side it says view the blog. Right there you can view that blog. Pretty basic concept right now. Conservation of energy says, give me an example. And so the students, when they come in here, they can start making comments on that post. And so they can go through and comment on what their example could be. All right. Obviously, as you go through here, let's click the close this out. You can obviously change your theme. You can customize this. You can change the colors. You can change a whole bunch of stuff on here um, to make it look pretty, look more presentable, all that stuff. So if you don't like the way your blog looks, just come back down here and say, okay, I want it to look like this one now. And so there you can see what that is. So if I want to apply that, um, if I want to do that, so there we go. Um, so now I have that type of theme applied to my blog. So I'll go back up here. There's what it looks like. So you can play around with that, see the different theme, the colors, the designs, everything that you have with that. So if I view my blog again, so there we go. It looks a little bit different. So you can see how the students could post a comment. And so you can have a nice big discussion outside of your classroom about conservation of energy. Um, so that's the basics of creating a blog. Again, there's a lot of different things you can do with that, but again, very simple, a lot easier than a Google site, but at the same time, probably doesn't have quite as many tools as what making your own full website would. But still a good way to keep people informed, but then also have discussions whenever you can. Thank you.